Go to Siphamandla Goge as well. Our senior reporter is also on the ground in KwaZulu-Natal there as we continue tracking developments following these heavy rains and the flooding that's lashed KwaZulu-Natal. Siphamandla, good afternoon.
Bahlanu abashonile.
Yebo, bawu-5.
Ingane eyingaki?
Ingane abazukulu abawu-4 nendodakazi eyodwa.
Bashona kwenzeka kanjani? Imvula bezinamandla izolo ebusuku kwawa ujantshi la ngemuva.
Yebo, ujantshi kwaqhuma nekhebuli lela ngemva komuzi. Kwase kushutha ukududuleka abanye mina ngazi kwenzekeni. Sengibona manje kuseni. Uthi kududuleka amatshe azoshaya indlu.
Nekwazile ukubathola mhlambe ngesikhathi kudakulo.
Indodakazi bevelile bengambozekile wonke. Ngathi ngiyazama ukumsiza ngahluleka. Laba abanye nje bengabonakala inhloko.
Mhlawumbe usizo uhulumeni athi uzonihlinzeka ngalo iluphe nelidinga njengamanje ngoba yacaca ukuthi inhlekelele idalo ukuthi kuhambe isipoli lana sikajantshi sazole emaze ekhaya.
Inkinga esinayo njengamanje indawo yokuhlala sinayo. Asazi ukuthi solalapha. Bese sicela ukuthi ngathi bangasingcwabela kahle ngokuthula.
Bese ninqumile ukuthi nizobakhweza nini?
Asikanqumi ngoba sikabe simasihlangana manje indodana mayifika manje singakaxoxa.
Okay. Well, well, that is one of the local community members here. This family has lost 5 members of the family. I'm going to ask my colleague Bongamkize to come with me and show you what happened yesterday night. The railway tracks were basically washed away by heavy rains. Then they hit the house. 5 people who were inside the house died, 4 children and 1 elderly person. This is devastation all over. We'll just take a walk around. We are in Georgedale in Hammersdale, just outside eThekwini, and this is a family that has been visited by authorities as we are trying to show you the devastation here. It's just tragedy. 5 people lost their lives here due to these floods, and you can see the house has been damaged, heavily damaged. There is furniture all over, clothes are all over, and most importantly, human life has been lost. You're talking about 5 people who have lost their lives, and we will just try and climb here to see if we'll be able to show you a proper picture of these railway tracks that caused this devastation. Of course, they were washed away by water, and then they came here to hit the house. 5 people inside the house. There were 9 people. 5 of those people unfortunately did not make it out. Only 4 family members were able to make it out. This is just the devastation that is here in Georgedale, Hammersdale, just outside Durban, as we continue to monitor the devastation that has been caused by these severe floods in KwaZulu-Natal.
Siphamandla, just to clarify, she said of the 5, it's 4 young children that who perished in this house.
That is correct, brother. Yes, we are talking about 4 children that have perished and an adult, one adult person. But in total, 5 people have lost their lives, 4 children. We've just interviewed a family member now who survived, explaining to us what really happened. She says they were inside the house at night, and then they heard a loud bang, of course, that must have been caused by these railway tracks that you see here. You can see, we are talking about that is steel or metal, and then everything just came down crashing here. It affected the house, the stones and everything from the railway tracks came here, and then the house collapsed. As you can see, the roof of the house here. That's how this tragedy happened. The Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Sihle Zikalala, telling me moments ago that in total, the number of those that have lost their lives for now in KwaZulu-Natal stands at 45. eThekwini being one of the most affected regions or districts. Of course, Ukum, Kungundlovu and other regions are affected as well. At 5 o'clock today, there will be a special provincial executive meeting whereby the Executive Council of KwaZulu-Natal will have to write to the national government and ask that eThekwini be declared a disaster area. Of course, that decision will have to be taken by the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Executive Council. There is an emergency meeting at 5 o'clock today to basically discuss this situation in the province, and then after that they will decide whether to write to the national government and ask for more resources, because I can tell you that disaster management teams are struggling and rescue teams are struggling with assisting those that have been affected. We've been driving around eThekwini and we have seen devastation all over, so more and more human and financial resources are needed to deal with helping people who have been affected by these floods here, the victims of these floods. It's not for the first time that such a thing happens in eThekwini in particular. 2017, 2018 and 2019 we have seen how eThekwini, which is the economic hub of the province, has been affected. Earlier on I asked Sihlezi Galala where and how are they going to get financial resources to deal with this. Remember, the province is still trying to recover from the July 2021 unrest, the economy, property and lives were lost there. Sihlezi Galala saying yes, indeed, this will put more financial burden on the provincial government to try and assist people who need help, because these family members here, this family has been telling me that they would need to evacuate. They cannot sleep inside this house because it's not safe to do so. They are not the only ones. We went to Claremont, we saw people being evacuated, being taken to the local police station and local community halls because they cannot sleep inside houses that have been damaged. And I guess that's where the real challenge will be, to say those that have been evacuated, where are they accommodated? But most importantly, the bigger challenge now will start of rebuilding their lives, but there is nothing they can do because most people have died, particularly for this family here in Georgedale, in Hammersdale. They have lost 5 family members. You can understand the trauma that comes with that.
Okay. Siphamandla, before I let you go, just to confirm, Sihlezi Galala, the Prem of KZN, confirming the death toll so far to be 45 people. And we know that scores of people are still missing, and they want the Durban area, around the Durban area, to be declared a disaster area. And there'll be an emergency briefing this afternoon at 5 o'clock. Am I correct?
That is correct. That is the case. Yes, 5 o'clock emergency meeting of the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Executive Council, and then that meeting will have to take a decision, because Sihlezi Galala says even though the meeting has not convened, but generally speaking there is a need to ask for eThekwini and all those badly affected regions and districts to be declared disaster areas. So the likelihood is that after the meeting they will write to the Department of Cogta National and ask that eThekwini in particular be declared a disaster area. It's not only eThekwini that has been affected. Ladysmith, which is, common, many people know that flooding is common in Ladysmith. Almost every week, once it rains, there will be reports of flooding in Ladysmith. That small town is severely flooded as we speak, and other areas, if you go to Uku district on the south coast, KwaZulu-Natal Midlands also. So it's not only eThekwini, it's just that the focus is more in eThekwini, but across the province these floods have wreaked havoc, and I guess that's why the Provincial Executive Council will have to write to the national government and ask for more resources so that at least they can be able to deal with the aftermath of these floods, particularly to assist the victims.
Okay, thank you very much, Siphamandla, for that update. We'll catch up with you a little bit later on as well with Dasen Tatia, who's our eye in the sky this afternoon over parts of the Durban area that's been badly hit, badly affected by the recent heavy rains and flooding. We also have Lethiwe Mdluli on the ground there. Earlier she was near Umlazi, and shockingly we saw a group of young people stealing from a warehouse seemingly, and also taking a fridge and floating it. It looked like nobody gave them permission to do that. The police are not present there. The storage warehouse, there's nobody there. So you just wonder why somebody would want to do that, and shocking visuals that we saw. But anyway, we'll carry on focusing on what's happening in KwaZulu-Natal this afternoon here on eNCA.